Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the Georgetown Tea House. Now, I know that, a lot of people who become familiar with the tea house know that, it's a place that we usually have these conversations about Christianity, good and evil, etc. But what we're going to do moving forward is that all the conversations that we'll be having that concerns the Guyanese diaspora, we'll be bringing it through the Georgetown Tea House. So this evening, it's entitled The When Last Show, and we're going to be talking about some of the older Guyanese music, some of the stuff that you may have grown up listening to on Radio Demerara or GBS. And I have my main man with me here, Brother Alfred, as he's called, who will be, helping to take us through with this.
Yeah, I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest.
Also from the corner is the Creole man himself, Pablo Jiti. All right. So sit back. It's going to be a nice, chill evening. Also, we're going to start a conversation about Guyanese false names. And, nobody out there can tell me they know nothing but GT false name. All right. So stay tuned. Share the broadcast. I know we've been away for a little while, but we here and we here to stay. All right. So
yes, sir.
I have been wondering why can you do it all side by side? GTown reggae, the bass and treble. GTown reggae gonna rock you all night long. GTown reggae, well-dressed rebel. GTown reggae gonna give you that real cool high. GTown reggae.
Well, I'm a man of the earth and the redwater creek.
All right. We're going to kick things off with a little promo. For those of you who are familiar with the corner, the Pablo Creole's corner, you would have seen a series which would have started with Brother Alfred here, continued with Maggie, and then the last time we had Pablo G. It's the V40 concert, and coming up this weekend, we're going to have Don J and a poet, and Pablo Shati is going to tell you more about that.
I'm in love with Mary Jane. She's the girl from right down the lane. Since I met her last summer, she's the only thing on my mind. From the first time I kissed her lips, got a taste I just can't resist. Mary Jane, you're one of a kind. Say you'll always be mine. Do you love me, Mary Jane? Do you really feel the same? Do you love me, Mary Jane?
All right. That was Mary J, Don J. Tell us about what's coming up, Pablo Jiti.
All right. Thank you, Brother Andy. Thanks for having me on the show today. So the virtual 40 mic drop, we call it now, it's held on the Karna, which is Pablo's Creole's Karna, every first and third Saturday from 12 noon on Facebook Live. All right. So this weekend, we are so thrilled to have Brother Don J, who's a singer and lyricist, also an audio engineer, and he's going to be performing in a recorded live setting 4 songs from his In the Morning EP. In addition, spoken word artist who's featured on the EP In the Morning, Nora Oz. She is going to be performing her piece Morning Wake Extended. She's an erotic poet. Don J is a super talented and gifted vocalist. So we are excited to have them both on the Karna. This is show number 32 on the Karna, and it's a virtual 40 mic drop, man. You want to follow Pablo's Creole's Corner at Creole's Corner 2021 on Facebook. Creole's with a K, Corner with a K, to get notified when we go live. So see you on the corner this Saturday. You're on mute.
What's the time this Saturday?
Yes, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, 12 noon. All right. We will be in the coming weeks. There've been, for as long as I've been an artist, I've heard conversation about Guyanese music and the GT sound and what or if there is a GT sound. All right. So what we wanted to do in the coming weeks is to play a few of these pieces from back old. I have my musician pal with me here, Brother Alfred, who's going to break down some of these songs, give you an idea of what was going on. Maybe he would be familiar with some of the artists behind the music, and Pablo GT, of course, will chip in with his 2 and 3 cents and thing. All right.
5 cents.
Right. So it's oldies time. It's GTown oldies, and we want to explore the music. We're gonna begin with something titled "When You're in Love."
There's no difference between truth and lies. When you're in love, love. When you're in love, your eyes are open, yet you cannot see nothing else but what you want to see. When you're in love, when you are hurt, that's the time you begin to hear. That's the time when your eyes will see. That's the time when your heart will know. Yeah. When you are hurt, that's the time everything comes clear. That's when you know if the feeling is real. When you're in love, when you're in love, love is a wonderful thing. Love is also a hurting thing. When you are hurt, that's the time you begin to hear. That's the time when your eyes will see. That's the time when your heart will know. Yeah. When you are hurt, that's the time everything comes clear. That's when you know if the feeling is real. When you're in love, when you're in love, when you're in love, when you're in love, when you're in love.
All right.
Yeah.
Before I go to my man Alfred, Quincy Roberts, who hosts the Guyanese Music and Culture Show on Talk of the Tongue Radio every Saturday. All right. He's saying that he's boasting of his arsenal. He says he has an entire arsenal of Guyanese music
Nice.
in his computer. Good for you there, Quincy. So
Yes.
Alfred, IVOR LYNCH, When You're in
Yes,
Love.
sir.
Break
Yes,
down
sir.
that
Yes, sir.
track for us.
Well, first of all, rest in peace, Ivor. I think he passed a couple of years ago. I actually met him for the first time, I think, online on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I look at his face, he seems familiar, but I don't remember interacting with him in Guyana.
Right.
But the song, what I just heard, it seems as though it might have been recorded in the 80s, maybe. Was it in the 80s? Do you know?
No, I think that
70s.
that particular one was the 70s. I think.
It was.
I think from the writer, but you could be right.
Yeah,
you could be right.
But then I noticed that the video was done way after, because that video that I'm looking at.
That video is something I put together with the because
okay.
I just put that together. Yeah.
Okay,
Nice,
so I'm right. So I'm right. Yeah, I'm looking at and it's good because you can listen to the lyrics and interpret and put together something really nice. Now, as far as I love the progression. And it has like two verses and then a change and goes back to the verse. That's the way that we did stuff in Guyana back in the days. We followed that formula. These days, they just hit a progression for the entire song, and they allow the vocals to do the changes. But back then it was that was the format right there. Ivor is an awesome singer. I can tell that the influence of the music, like most Guyanese musicians, back then, we listened to soul, and we listened to country and western, we listened to jazz. I could tell that influence coming from sort of like the soul music of the time.
Right.
So it was well produced, and I heard really good background vocals. I don't know if did you add anything to the music?
No, I didn't do anything with the music.
Okay.
I tried to.
Sure. So yeah, I think, and I don't know where it was recorded, and it might have been at Gems on Rock Street by Seals. I'm not sure, but all in all,
this one based on the information on the recording, it may have been recorded in England, somewhere in England. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay. So he had access to maybe, better sort of like studios and that kind. Maybe, I don't know. I know. If we're going back to the 70s.
Would this be? Just tell me quickly before I forget this question. Would this be? You have a background playing music with a Guyanese band. Would this have been something that you guys covered at any time? This particular track?
Not this song. I don't recall this song. I'm assuming it's his.
Okay.
Is it his?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's his composition. No,
I
don't recall.
Okay.
Oh, I thought that's what you're saying, that it's his composition.
Right. That one, I didn't research.
Okay.
As to whether it's his original, as in no.
Gotcha.
In case he wrote it and thing, yeah.
To tell you the truth, I'm thinking this is the first time that I'm hearing this song.
Okay.
I don't recognize it, but right off the bat, it's pleasing.
But it was something that I did hear back in the day.
You've heard it before.
Yeah, it says here on YouTube, it says composed and performed by Ivor LYNCH.
Okay, so it's his song. Yes. And all of Ivor's songs that I've heard, they have good progressions, and all of his songs were at a certain quality, in terms of composition and his singing. But no, I never played in a band and covered that one.
You never covered that one. All right, Pablo, in terms of we've all been working and talking about Guyanese music and the sound. as you listen to that, where do you feel that the creator's mind was, that musician's mind was, and what was he trying to do musically?
Well, as a writer, you are inspired by a lot of things, right? But it's actually relatively easy to write, especially from a relationship standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're in love, those are from some very heightened feelings, and
Mm-hmm.
so heartbreak and that type of stuff, you're very vulnerable. And so as a writer, if you experience those emotions, I think it's easy to translate those into words. It's therapeutic as well, to really get that story out. But that song, on a lighter note, took me back to a bottom house party in Berbice, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I remember them boys sharking and things. So this song starts scratching when you're in love. It's like you better hold on to your beanie or else the shark is coming,
Right.
And when them boys pick up and dance, and there's movements all over the floor, you know what I'm saying? So this song brought back those memories to me.
So you remember this song?
70s.
You remember this song?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember the song, man. So you had back then, I guess the style you had on your fine pants with your Clarks, right? And the belt hanging with your Chambéry shirt and the two piece at the back and your Congo, you know what I'm saying? And you fall up in the car and you're spinning with the beanie, Yeah, man.
You talking about Rent a Title.
Rent a Title. Yeah. There you go. Rent a Title.
Now, when you think of today's music, Alfred, can a song like this fit with, if say covered by one of the younger Guyanese artists, can it fit with the groove of today?
Oh, absolutely. You see the thing is, what we have available to us now are all kinds of samples of all kinds of different instruments at all kinds of different quality levels. And so someone could take a song like this, and I'm not speaking about remaster, but redoing it with some of the more modern sounds that we have now. That, I mean, it's already pretty musically, like it has melody, and Pablo's right. I mean, he's singing about love, and you can take those emotions and put them into words. So the next step is to take those words and put them into music and turn them into like a melodic thing, So there's some really, really talented, and I don't know if you mean Guyanese folks, but there's some really talented folks in Guyana right now. If they wanted to, they can take that song and redo it. And just with the newer sounds, it could, put some 808 sounds on the bass, the kick drum and the snare. Right. Yeah, you would hear something.
It would certainly lift it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The next track is something titled "Lonesome Love" by PATRICIA GOUVEIA.
Lonesome love.
All right, that was something coming out of the Halagala
Yeah.
studio. All right. Now,
Halagala.
yeah, Terry Nelson from
Okay.
BV.
So where was that studio? In Brooklyn or in?
No, in BV, Guyana.
Okay.
Yeah, Guyana.
When you said BV is from the Better for Acting, where's BV?
Yeah, better for acting.
Okay.
Better for acting. Okay.
Yeah.
As a beat poet, Pablo Shiti, you know, you listen to groove like that. Any you feel any words being pulled from you, you feel your mind going anywhere?
Well, for me, I couldn't help but think of Red Red Wine as I listened to the song, you know, because I'm thinking that the beats for Red Red Wine is the same as this, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, not the
Alfred?
beats, but the well, let's put it this way: the track for Red Wine.
Yeah.
She sang "Lonesome Love" to it. So it's not just the beats; it's the chord progressions,
everything,
and the melody. The only thing that she changes the lyrics.
The lyrics.
She's saying "Lonesome Love"
instead of red
wine.
Right.
You know.
Which speaks to because I'm wondering which one came first, because Red Wine has a new mix where it's more modern, speaking to the issue, the recommendation that you made, Alfred, for for Ivor Lynch's song, right?
Yeah.
It could be updated, but so this song by her sounds a little dated. I think it's from 1970.
Does it say 1970?
It said 1970.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that Red Wine was also done before that, but was also remixed.
Well, I tell you what, I'd like to respond to that. If it turns out that hers is the original, and someone took her song and sang the Red Wine lyrics on top of it,
right?
Then
no, I think Red Wine was an Oldies tune.
Yeah. But
I think
I'm just
Red
saying,
Wine was an Oldies tune.
But what I'm saying, if it is that hers is the original, then I think she's still alive in this area, but she should be a very, very rich person, because Red Wine, UB40, so many people covered Red Wine. It made so much money.
Right.
Red
I got
Wine.
the answer.
Yeah.
I got the answer. Neil Diamond.
There you go.
1968.
There you go.
The original, yeah.
There you go.
Red Wine, yeah.
So the thing is, the only way Neil Diamond would go after her is if her version was making a ton of money. It wouldn't make any sense for him to go after her for using his melody,
right?
His chord progression, everything is used except she put her own lyrics on there. Yeah. But if her version was making tons and tons of money, they would have come after her. You know,
sure. But as a poet, to answer your question, as a poet listening to the words, you know, it's what I like is the simplicity of the structure. And one of the things that I struggle with sometimes as a wordsmith is getting too wordy in my writing, right? And what I read somewhere from an older writer, a lyricist, was that you've got to find a way to be concise and keep it simple, but make sure that you have something that's memorable, right? And you keep repeating it. So the way she's repeating that first line, lonesome love, that stays with you, right? And that's a good tool for writers to have, where you've got that recurring theme that resonates and that stays and structures. Everything's structured from that. Every verse is structured from Lonesome Love. So I love that about it.
Yeah, it's
what about the music? How would you describe the music, Alfred, in terms of genre and
Right. I think okay, so we've established that it was written in '68 by Neil Diamond, who is huge. Yes. And I wouldn't be surprised if that song was like #1 on the charts or whatever. So in terms of choosing that melody and that and the chord structures and everything, choosing that to put your lyrics on top of it is clever, because you're speaking about an anthem, and you put your words on top of that. People are actually hearing. Jamie said it. He couldn't help but hear "Red, Red Wine."
Yeah.
So the thing is, when you're going to do a cover, you got to choose wisely and choose something that is actually going to propel your song that's already a hit, So, but in terms of the recording, it was definitely a ska beat. So it came out at the time when ska was a big deal. I was listening to the bass, it was a good bass line. There were times where, back in those days, nobody was doing any overdubbing and all of that. Because I know I recall I played with Dominators when I was like 16 or 17, and we did some recording. And when you go into record, you do the whole song, and if they don't like you, do the whole song again, and then they just say, okay, that's it, and you have no opportunity to come in and overdo your bass line or overdo your guitar and stuff like that. But I heard some things in the production that in this day and age it wouldn't be allowed, But back in them days, you do it, it sound good. Overall, it sound good. Let's leave it alone and run with it, But yeah, I couldn't help but hear "Red, Red Wine" myself, which is a huge song, man.
Okay. We'll move on now to Mark Holder. Mark Holder, "Something of Value."
Oh, wow.
I have found me something of value. She doesn't stand on dinner ground. She might not melt the second glance, but to me, she's a treasure, and I'll tell the world that she's something of
Mark
Nice.
Holder. Your take there, Alfred.
Yeah, I mean that's a big tune, man. I know that one right off the bat. Um, Mark Holder. I think at some point he had left Guyana, and I think he moved to the United States, and then he went back. But I think this was recorded before he left. If I'm thinking about the right person, but yeah, but lyrically, man, listen to it. She's something of value, you know. It's really strong lyrically from and it has a nice story, you know. I think one of the lines he said, I think he said she doesn't stand out in a crowd.
Right.
She might not get a second glance, but to me, she's a treasure. And I'll tell the world that she's something of value, you know. And that's powerful. That's powerful. Now, that's the story melodically, the melody that he put on it. I think, she's something of value. That's nice. That's really nice stuff. And the thing that we need to keep in mind, because the tendency, the fundamental kind of error that we make is listening to that stuff. If those guys had the sort of like recording equipment and everything that's available to us today, I mean, that's a completely different song. But in a way, it is what it is, and it has a beauty to it. And I think if somebody tried to, with all of the sort of like the sonic faults and recording kind of, mics, bleeding into other mics and that kind of thing, it has a beauty to it. And so if you try to redo that and you got all clean with it and cleaned it up and everything, it wouldn't the beauty would probably go away. So
Right.
I love that song. I really do.
Okay. Now, in terms of were you able to like identify maybe the particular organ that they would have been using around that time?
Yeah. I was listening to the organ, that kind of thing. Back then they were using a few guys. I know in the Dominators, the keyboard player, I forgot his name. He had a B3 and he actually had one of those speakers. What was it called again? It had the thing spinning inside. So he had one of those, a B3 organ and a Leslie speaker. That's what they call them, Leslie speakers. And so when the sound, they had a foot switch, and when the sound went into the speaker, it could be spinning slowly. Wow, 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 wow. And as they press it, it spun faster. And it would give you this really beautiful sound. There was, I think the Farfisa was another keyboard that they used back then, So apart from that, yeah, I do remember this song, man. Like that other song took JP back. That one took me back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, what I got from that song is I was
Close off
listening
with
to
your take, Pablo, today.
Yeah, I was listening to the structure of the song. So I think it began with the hook. Then you went to verse 1, then verse 2, and then a bridge. And then back to a mixture of the hook with a new line introduced. And then the outro, right? Again, speaking to the simplicity, you've got the theme is about somebody that the writer is enamored with, is in love with, but she's not a flashy person. She's not a diva. But to him, as Alfred said, she's something of value. And I think as a writer, you wanna get that it. You want to get that something. What do I want people to get from this song? Is the message is that don't worry about all the flash, right? Not everything that's flash is something of value. There may be things that are not flashy, women that are not flashy, men that are not flashy. Don't ignore them, because that could be, the treasure that you really are, the hidden treasure So I thought that was powerful.
Yeah, that was powerful. That's a good message. You know, all that glitters isn't gold, so to speak. You know,
Exactly.
and so yeah, that was a good one.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. What we'll do next week, from next week, I'll do a lot of juxtaposing, right? Where we'll kind of go back, move forward. And we want to look real hard at the lyrical content,
Yeah, yeah.
um, the music, the mixes, all right? Kind of figure out where someone may have just been um, kind of working with a groove from the time, or whether they were trying to change it, all right, or create their own song, all right. We want to look deeply at these things as we continue to ask ourselves, and as we continue to pursue the GT song, all right. Something that we can look back 10 years down the line and say, hey, as with reggae and Jamaica and calypso and soca, Trinidad, hey, this is our song, this is our thing. All right. So before we close off with the a note again about the V40, as you listen to the three, as you listen would have listened to the three pieces of music, Alfred, Lonesome Love, Patricia Gouvea, When You're in Love, Ivor Lynch, and Something of Value, um, Mark Holder. Would you say that maybe in some way that that maybe that 70s era, that those musicians maybe, how should I say it, they miss being a part, that they deserve to have been a part of we would call musical success.
Um, I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. It's a sort of like we all have. There's a sort of a fundamental problem we all have, and that is if we were able to go back to that time,
Mm,
there was there wasn't any success. I can't think of a Guyanese musician who was on the ground. I mean, we're not speaking Eddie Grant. Eddie Grant left, but on the
right, right.
ground there was no real success to be had, because I know when I was playing in bands, and it's
Mm,
as great as those people are, no one saw it. Even my parents didn't see it as anything. They thought it was like it's
serious.
just a jam. It's just a jam.
Mm,
He's going out. He's playing a string band. Like that kind
mm,
of thing. But they never thought it was some sort of like lifelong career or something like that. So there wasn't a lot of there were bands like the Rhythmiers, the Telstars. Those were the bands that were getting all the gigs, and but I can't tell you that those guys are making enough money to, like, feed their families and stuff like that. They probably still had like side
right.
jobs, and you know. So so
Okay.
so
So
I,
only
I
only
don't.
those you say who would have been able to bounce some of them. I mean, Mark
Yeah,
Holder did bounce, but like you said, he didn't
he did.
thing.
Yeah, he didn't.
There is a Holland guy. You know the guy in Holland. Like I forgot his first name.
Oh,
He
you
used to
speaking
play
about
with Song
Eddie?
Dimensions.
Oh, not Eddie Taylor.
No, something Holland.
Oh, Loris Holland.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think he said he used to play with Song
Loris.
Dimensions.
Well, but I tell you what, Loris right now, Loris is working with the top acts in the United
Right,
States.
right.
I,
Exactly.
I have another buddy by the name of Jolyon Skinner. Um,
Mm,
I played in Brooklyn with a band called Touch, and
mm,
it's a band of Guyanese guys, right? But
mm.
we had some success. We toured a little bit. We went to Canada, different parts of the United States.
Right.
But Jolyon, who is an excellent songwriter and lyricist, he actually got signed to different record companies, and so he was writing with guys like Jonathan Butler and
Mm,
Joe he wrote a couple of songs for In Sync,
Okay.
yeah, so those guys were successful, but I mean they were here. And your the basis of your question is, as I got it, did those guys like Mark Holder and the other two performers, was there some sort of success that they could have had back then that didn't materialize? They
Right.
probably would have had a better chance right now as folks with careers, and streaming and having an online
I
presence
mean,
and all that kinds of stuff.
it's a question I want us to touch from time to time as we move forward,
Sure.
Pablo GT, in that there are a lot of people who would have come that, nothing happened for them, right? So I would want us to the best, of our ability, to try and identify, okay, what was it that actually made Eddie Grant, right? Because some of the old timers, I would have heard from some of the old timers, they would have said that back then, the person who seemed to have had the most potential was the other Eddie Hooper,
Right.
right? Folks told me, he was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to make it big as against Eddie Grant. So, we want to explore questions like that too. All right. Your closing words, Pablo GT.
All right. Yeah. So of course, I mean the $1 million question is what are the variables that determine whether an artist is going to be successful? And if we knew that, we probably wouldn't be talking on the podcast right now, right? So it's something that I think changes over time, and now in this era of digitized music and the internet and that type of stuff,
Right.
I think the data is there now for us to really understand precisely what factors lead to success. And so if we become scientific in our approach to music, we can find those things and teach, the younger artists, listen, these are the things that you need to make sure that you understand and master in order to really have a chance. Otherwise, you may have the talent, but you don't understand these elements of success, and so you're going to be frustrated. As I look across the landscape, we talk about Ivor Lynch and the artists that you featured, right? That angst continues to this day. A lot of artists, I look at, my guys like Zebulon and talented people like Pablo G and Don J and Blackamore, and these guys are putting out good quality stuff, but it feels like they should be doing much more than they are in terms of the success of their tracks when they're launched. So I think we need to really study that and be more scientific in our approach to that. So that would be my takeaway from
Yeah,
this.
and I think that's a very good point to close upon in terms of the question of, what's the approach? What are the pathways to, success? So what are the pathways to having a successful and vibrant industry? All right. So we will be tackling that question head on, time and time again, gentlemen.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks again
All right.
for being here, and tell us again about the V40,
All right.
and we'll close.
All right. So the Virtual 40 concert, mic drop actually, will be held this Saturday on Facebook Live. You can go on facebook.com/Creoles with the K, Corner with the K 2021 at 12 o'clock on Saturday. That would be May 20th. And our featured artists are singer, lyricist Don J, and spoken word artist Nora Oz, sorry. So they're both going to be featured in a recorded live setting. We've got 4, possibly 5 tracks. They're going to be featured from their In the Morning EP. So you don't want to miss it. Spread the word this Saturday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live. See you upon the corner.
Nice.
All right. So thanks again. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Alfred. Thank you, Pablo.
Sure,
Shitty.
sure,
And we'll
sure,
be
sure.
back
Man.
with you.
Bless
All
up.
right.
Big
care
respect.
now.
Big respect, Aya.
All right, guys.
I have been wondering, why can't you do it all side by side? GTown reggae, the bass and treble. GTown reggae gonna rock you all night long. GTown reggae, well-dressed rebel. GTown